see what happens.
Um,
I've actually been, oh, let me accept it or say okay. Okay. I've been, um, cause like, so you think of sessions like our empowered heart sessions, right?
mhm.
And it's like on one hand, it's nice to have if those were all recorded. So if you missed, you can go listen and like tune in, or if you just want to listen again. And then there's this part of me that's like, maybe they shouldn't be recorded because they're such like sacred, like little container bubbles that it almost feels weird to record.
Yeah.
But I've been thinking about how I want to do that with my support groups. I'm going to start the Mothers and Others for Non-Speakers again.
Mhm.
And I'm curious if you have any like perspective on that. Right now, I'm thinking of just recording the first one of the 8 week session, just for anyone who misses, and then like keeping it closed.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like personally, I never went back and listened to any of the sessions. So like I don't know if some people did utilize that, but I agree there is something it's like you had to be there to there in the now
Yeah,
to feel the energy, to feel the exchange. I think there's a lot of learning that can be had after the fact. But on the other
right,
side, more for just your use, like, it might be handy, like as annoying as that is, but just to uh yeah, help make it known like what the space feels like and whatnot. You could always
right.
cut pieces where you're just guiding and no one else is talking or something. And then that's easy
Right.
content. Yeah.
I'm just remembering now what I did when I had the group going last, and I think I like this, is I actually had my phone set up on a um like the thing that holds it, and I was using my computer.
Mhm.
So I was actually recording just me
Yeah.
on the phone instead of like the whole session.
That's funny. I thought of
And
doing that for this. Uh yeah,
I
there's
thought about that
something.
too.
Yeah, should we do it?
I
No.
was like,
Maybe the next one. I don't know, but yeah, to have like, I don't know, a camera angle and then it looks more organic.
uh-huh.
I can't this whole just speaking on one's
Right.
own to the camera and like giving your spiel.
I
That just doesn't
know.
it just doesn't come out the way that I want it to. So there's definitely ways to explore how to
I've
capture.
been yeah, I've been thinking about this too because so many people have reflected to me about my voice and like using my voice more and like creating things or just even speaking to the camera, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I can do that and I can just like sit there and talk and say things. But there also is like an element of like an art to it, right? How we speak and the tone. Or if we take Katie Gray, for example, who was like a voice actor, right? So she knows how to, and a singer, she knows how to use her voice. But when she reads the chapters that are recorded for the book, her voice is different slightly than when she's like leading the group or maybe presenting something or even slightly different, like her meditation voice.
Mhm.
Like everything gets a little bit softer
Yeah.
and like slower, and you can kind of feel like your system responds to the voice. Like,
Yeah.
so that's something I've been thinking about, not so much playing with, because it makes me feel weird to think about change, like presenting your voice a certain way. Like, so yeah, that's
Yeah. But I mean, I remember in her book too, she referenced that, like the power of intonation and like, making these like humming or
mm,
like motherly soothing noises. So like,
mm.
like, and it is
Mhm.
true. Like it directly, I think, accesses this part of our brain that's more organismal. And so
Right.
I think, yeah, we definitely have to explore it based on how we're using in the context. Because naturally, too, yeah, if you're going to guide someone through a meditation, there is that like slowing down and you want to be soft and quiet. And,
Mhm.
but then if you're going to talk about theory and stuff, then you can get like
Or
really
like
excited.
presenting yourself.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
over it.
Like,
So I think a lot of it just happens naturally, actually, but then tapping into it more as a tool could be
right.
huge. Yeah.
And I think for me, like, there's a little bit of a block there. It almost feels like this part, right? Like the connector from the heart to the brain to like above is like the voice is a big part of that. And it's often an area too, that like constraining feeling or when you want to cry, like the constriction, the energy around this area. I feel that. And I feel like it's wanting to kind of like come out. It's almost like a part of my power that's not unlocked because I'm like afraid to use my voice or something, or afraid to like actualize it, not just use it, like speak my truth, but like use it.
Yeah,
Um,
more, mm, yeah, educational, outward projecting.
right.
Yeah.
Less just like, oh, I'm me and my voice, but like using it, like to
Yeah.
speak, to share something, yeah, to help someone maybe enter more of a meditated state through your voice or through connecting like the voice like up and down. So, anyways, something I've been thinking about, and I feel like this is good practice, just us talking and being on camera and speaking is,
Yeah, yeah, because it's something that feeling I resonate with a lot. Like anytime I get emotional, it is purely here, and I know I've had many years of yeah, not expressing my thoughts, keeping it inside, right? And I think that's
you
where it
know,
really comes from. Although I'd be interested to talk to someone who's always felt very vocally empowered and like
open there.
yeah, like what is their experience in their body when they get emotional? Where do they feel it? Like, is it just a
Mm.
consistent thing because it's this channel from the heart to the mind? I don't know, but I do feel lately that I have a lot more groundedness and courage to speak what I think, which is really
Mhm.
nice. Like when people are
That would-
yeah, it's cool when people are talking and I used to, if I didn't agree, I would just kind of like observe and have this just dialogue in my own mind of like, okay, well, yeah, it's not really. But now then just letting it go and then seeing how the space shifts and the dynamic shifts and how like good it feels actually to express. It's like it's very powerful.
Yeah, totally. And when you like feels like liberated in here, not like constricted, it
Yeah.
kind of, I feel like practices opening that pathway
Yeah.
activation. Oh man. And yeah, and sometimes not saying needing to say anything at all. Also, like
Oh yeah, yeah. I think there's something
yeah.
just embodied presence that actually speaks the
Mhm.
loudest. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've felt that recently like at a women's gathering and it's interesting when a lot of women gather who don't know each other that well too and some who maybe like appear very powerful or kind of hold that like presence. But then when you're like all interacting and you're just kind of witnessing and tuning in, yeah, the like actual embodied like power presence is not, it feels very different than like I'm confident and I'm holding myself a certain way and maybe I'm successful and all these things. It was really interesting, like for me to observe and also observe myself and like how I was feeling. I think in the past I would have felt maybe more insecure
Mhm.
or, those kinds of, oh, what do you do? Like, and then like sit and wait kind of question. And I'm like, I don't like that. But I felt myself like instead of kind of like get smaller, right? I was just kind of like, well, I'm here and I might appear differently or not have. some of these other things, but it felt good to not like shrink down or think that I needed to like show up a certain way, but instead just kind of like be there as myself and be present. And it felt really powerful to like just kind of be there in the presence of what felt like kind of more showing power in a way, you know?
Yeah.
And power is something I've just been really curious about and like, right, honing it, utilizing it. I've been thinking about packs a lot, like dogs and wolf packs and alpha and all these things, these energies and dynamics that are like at play in our everyday life. Um, but it's fun to observe and play with.
Yeah, because I think the true power is just felt. And so
Right.
that's the difference, right? That it's like that's the way it's always kind of surprising when someone portrays as one thing and then you feel them as something else. That disconnect,
Hmm.
I I I don't feel like it's authenticity then.
Right.
Which is, it's hard. It's so hard to be in that much alignment with oneself. But
Right.
I think rather just showing up exactly as we are, and even if that is initially like feeling a bit sheepish or a bit
Hmm.
uncertain, like it's okay to show that completely. And then with time, as we just step into ourselves and develop our crafts and our mastery and all that,
Right.
then naturally there's just this like kind of rock solid centeredness.
Hmm.
And that's very palpable when it's genuine, real, and earned. I think that's
Yeah.
because that's another thing I've been thinking about a lot lately too. Is it's like like the idea of mastery and imposter syndrome,
Hmm.
and sometimes when we don't feel like we're ready to do something, it's actually because we're not. But then, right? But then there's
Sure.
always this dynamic of like, I really liked it in my school program. This, you have one hand reaching up and one hand reaching down. And so like wherever we're at,
Hmm.
we can always help and serve those under us, metaphorically.
Hmm.
Um, but then there is a certain awareness around like what we really want to step into that is going to take maybe more time or more education and
Hmm.
I actually think that's really why I started doing the Czech Academy. Like that was the big realization for me that I was like, I just need a little bit more help and knowledge and
Hmm.
um, yeah, skill assessment skills and stuff to do what I really want to do with people. I have this idea right now, but it's not,
Hmm.
um, yeah, tangible enough, practiced enough. Yeah,
Totally.
so that's
And on that note, I think sometimes, especially like in the day and age now, the fast culture or like quick results or fix it mentality is like how important though that practice and experience is. And like not to dismiss or disregard opportunities that feel like maybe they're not paid opportunities, for example, or like where you want to be, but it's like actually really valuable experience, lessons, practice to like build that path.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Even like what we're doing right now feels like it's valuable, you know, in that sense that we're just being intentional, connecting, um, not for anyone or for a specific purpose, really, other than just to be here and to also hold space for each other through our own processes and
yeah,
see what comes, being open.
yeah, and just honing in on like finding clarity together. That's
Mhm.
what I find is always helpful with these discussions. Yeah. But how has it been going with support the supporters? Because I know you have you had the Instagram page that you opened up and
Yeah. Yeah,
starting
I've been
again.
very focused on that. In fact, I'm finding it hard to like focus on anything else, which I don't think is a bad thing, at least for a season.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm just noticing about that with myself. It's kind of like it's all there right now, like my psyche and energy and everything.
Yeah.
I think also because I feel so clear. It's like because I feel so clear, I'm able to like take action and just kind of see what keeps coming up or what's like being called to do next.
Mhm.
Um, but it feels really good to give that its own space and place and like actually put energy into getting the message out there or connecting people. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm
How
starting, like, the plan right now is just to have a free webinar next month, um, that I'll start promoting more soon, and then start my Mothers and Others of Non and Minimal Speakers group again. Um, because that's really where this all birthed from to begin with. And so, but instead of doing like an evergreen course, kind of like how Empowered Heart was, I'm gonna do 8-week live sessions. So, 8 Zoom calls with a theme for each session. I'm gonna do the elements.
yeah.
And actually, I want to invite like a guest facilitator for each session for one of the meetups. I don't know, I was going to ask you. Probably for Earth, I was thinking to invite you in for maybe some movement, talking about the feet, like whatever you want to bring into the element of Earth, grounding practices, foundational work, anything like that is basically the theme of the first session. So that's the plan right now. And I also want to start a couple other groups, um, but I haven't put too much into that yet, and it's not clear how I want to do that. So, but yeah, it feels good to have like movement and like clarity and just kind of stay steady in it and keep building. It's almost like I know that it has to grow if I'm like feeding it because it feels so right, you know?
Yeah.
And there's a need. And also just getting clear on my offering. Like, I know for me, like, as a facilitator, my strength is more in embodiment practices, in somatic work, in guiding people into their own bodies and connection to self, and also connection to the divine and in the heart space, but less kind of a talk therapy style.
Yeah.
And so that feels good too because I did have time to practice that with my small group of moms that I started with, right? And so now it's like, okay, now I'm kind of feeling like what works, what lands, and what feels good for me to offer because it has to be sustainable for me to show up, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that feels all really good to like be clear on the whole like getting the message out there and like promoting and helping people connect to it feels hard and uncomfortable and like I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm kind of it doesn't matter because like the foundation feels so clear. So it's like I'm just figuring it out as I go. And also welcoming support and
Yeah.
guidance too. Yeah.
But I think that is the key, that foundation, and you know what you want to offer. So then it is just a matter of, um, yeah, convincing people to join. And that will happen anyway. I think after the first round, like the Via Via network starts to
Right.
grow. But I think, I mean, that's at least what I'm really interested in because I don't have the firm foundation. I feel it's like I was going in one direction and I still see a lot of importance in that direction, but now it's like a whole new learning happening. And so I'm like, okay. and then being in a different country and all these new variables in my life that I'm like,
Right.
whoa, I don't really know what to where to channel that energy right now. But I think it would be really cool. Just that I think people really resonate when they resonate with the philosophy and the energy, and that's all it is. And so
Hmm.
it's like, having a few examples of that, whether it's like you guiding part of a session, posting that on YouTube, um, you also just taking a snippet from like this conversation, posting that on YouTube or and Instagram and
Right.
Facebook, like just everywhere really, and asking
Yeah, I
people to
know.
share. Yeah. And it's just that it's like, we just throw it out there. Like once if you know what you want, then it's like
Yep.
no shame because there's nothing to be
Right.
ashamed about. It's service, it's helping, it's mutually beneficial. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's been like, I feel like a big block for me to come through to get to this place because I definitely had a big like social media block or like I don't want to market or like put it out. It's like, why wouldn't you want to put it out there if it's a good thing and you're clear about it, you know?
Yeah.
I will say it has been a little easier, like kind of under the guise of support the supporters. And it's not just like, here's me and I'm Katie Kittle and I do these things and, come whatever. But it also is me. I mean, it's like the driving force behind the whole thing. And so it's interesting though how that like one step of removal has like kind of liberated me to come out a little bit more in the social media realm.
Mhm.
And yeah, just getting over caring. Like because I feel clear, I don't care, like if someone likes it or not, because it's like this is who I am and I know that. And I'm just trying to be that or share that in a way as authentically as possible
Yeah.
and trust that, yeah, the people and the places and the opportunities and things will align that resonate with it.
Yeah.
But also being proactive, not just, okay, universe, I'm clear. Now take it. It's like, no, I have to do, I
Yeah.
have to do some
Yeah.
work, it takes work. And I will say that like design, content, even just figuring out what the fuck I want to say in a post for something, is like it's not easy and it's definitely a learning curve for me, but I'm enjoying it because I keep kind of like tethering to the purpose of it and intention. And I feel like as long as I can stay there, then it will just kind of keep coming out naturally and rippling, but without getting like too in the head.
Yeah.
Which Laura actually has been a very lovely support for me in that, or like, you know, like don't, or she'll like sing a song, don't think about it too much. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's good. Just like, yeah, don't think about it too much. Think about it enough, but not like to where you're like, which can feel really easy to do, especially when you're like creating something or presenting on a more like social way
Yeah.
out in the open.
Well, because I feel like it's quite easy to uh contemplate, like it just, at least for my mind, it naturally happens. It's like I see like five different interpretations that could be had on one thing. And it's like, okay, we can't
Right.
control that. We can try to be as clear as we can, but at a certain point, it's also like, yeah, people are gonna construe whatever they will when based on where they're at in their life and what they're open and ready for,
Totally.
not, or if they're pissed off that day, or if they have like a lot of inflammation in their body, or like these are all contributing factors. So
Totally.
so much of it's beyond our control. But the intention, the clear intention and the effort and the time, I think that's just the key. And it will
And consistency
consistency. Yeah. So
is
I wanted
something I've
to,
been practicing in my life. Like
yeah.
consistency. If you're clear, like you can be consistent because it's less of like doing, which I still am doing a lot in other ways, but like in this vehicle, I feel clear. So it's like just stay steady, like stay consistent in what you know. You don't have to like try to do too much, right? It's like explore edges, boundaries, but like consistency is really impactful to the human psyche and nervous system too. You know, it's like um and I think that that's just naturally a part of something I have to offer is like being inconsistent in the just that, like who I am and what comes through, and not trying to like make it anything else necessarily or skew it too much.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm still learning that like
Yeah. Well, and what does that look like?
process.
Exactly, because I I tend to
Well,
naturally tend towards like rigidity often that I'm like, okay, I have to do like 4 hours a day, and like between this and this time. And
mm,
I think there's so many entrepreneurial classes and stuff out there that recommend that approach, but then it's like a lot of them are taught by men and they have a different cycle, right?
yeah, sure.
So it's like,
Yeah.
how do you navigate that flow?
Well, I guess like just getting again really clear on like tuning in on where like my heart and energy has wanted to go, which started in this case like a few years ago working with Joshua and Amy and being like, whoa, there's a big need here that I'm feeling called to, right? And then it just kind of like, oh, start bringing your table to camp. And then I started interacting with other parents and supporters and just being like, wow, they really appreciate this. Wow, this is really valuable. Wow, this feels really good. Like, wow, this feels like something I'm supposed to be doing. Okay. And like kind of just staying with it, like keep listening. Like I'm learning from Katie how she facilitates a group, like because there is an art to facilitation too. It's like, yeah, you can be clear in your heart, but like if you can't transmit that or like hold space, it doesn't go anywhere really. And so like learning the skills of how to transmit that message out or hold space in a container that's really vulnerable. And like what that looks like and just keep implement that. And so the staying consistent from like where it started is what has helped me be consistent because the same intention and message is still there. It's just trying to figure out how to get it out or hone more skills to support it.
Yeah.
And that's, and like getting clear on the message, like what is the purpose of support the supporters? What is the intention? What is the message? What is the like essence? And like keeping tethered to it helps it be consistent, you know?
Have you written
And
those things
I
out?
also,
Sorry.
yeah, I have written a lot of these things out. And then in that process too, it's like what keeps coming up, what keeps coming back, like what um like receiving is a big one, a message that's been really present, like and I think a message that's going to be really strong through support the supporters. It's like what what is it like to what does it feel like to receive? What does it mean to be receptive? What ways can we receive? What ways are we not allowing it? Like just this whole kind of concept of like giving and receiving, but focusing on the receiving part because a lot of supporters have a hard time with that piece.
Yeah.
And like that's something in my personal life that I'm more recently realizing I've had a hard time also allowing and understanding receiving and receptivity and like I feel like recently my mind has kind of been blown and expanded in my perspective of what that means. Like what it means to be receptive doesn't always just mean, oh, someone's offering me a ride, I'm going to say yes, or someone's offering me a meal, I'm going to receive it gratefully, but also receptive to like the higher realms of support, to messages, like your antenna being receptive, right? Like to messages and like receiving information, receiving benevolent energy, or because I feel like even on that level, sometimes we're like, oh, I'm good. I don't need anything. I'm fine. Or like, I can do it on my own. I don't need support from like family and friends or from like prayer or higher kind of embedded intelligence, you know?
Mhm.
Like tapping into that, I think is a part of receiving also
Yeah.
that I want to bring into support. It's going to be a pillar of support the supporters. And like that one has really only recently just kind of been solidified. Um, it's kind of on a bigger level. Like, yes, come receive nervous system care because we're going to get into our breath and body, and hopefully you will down regulate a little bit in your often very upregulated life. But also, you're receiving like the energy of all of us doing it together. You're receiving like the neural networking of your body learning how to be safe in your own body or be connected or feel supported. And then beyond that, let's go into like some other realms too, especially working with non-speakers who often are communicating on an energetic level. Like, how do we receive on that level, you know? Or how do we start to build a relationship with receiving in different levels and realms? Um, so yeah, that's
But yeah, it looks really,
welcome back to Katie E. Celeste's musings and wanderings
yeah, support the
of the
supporters,
process and
soulful
mysteries.
solutions.
Yes, support the supporters and soulful solutions. Yes. I was just reading your message. I think I feel that too, though. The whole like being clear, seeing it, feeling it, knowing it is gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I still think there's this element of because then I'm fully God, right? If I can just do everything, like,
Yeah.
it's like, yes, yes. And I also feel like, for me at least, the way that I've lived my life and my experiences, like, there's always like an element of mystery or surprise or even better than I could have imagined. Yes, it looks and feels how I wanted, but it's different, right? Like I don't know. I don't think I can know exactly, but I
No.
think the essence, like the core, when that feels clear and it's like a knowing, it's like, yeah, it feels powerful because it feels like pure energy almost. Like,
Yeah, I think, I mean, the fun surprise of it all is that like we don't know who's going to be involved, like what people are going to show
yeah,
up, what clients are going to, what energy is going to be exchanged, how we're going to grow. But it's like, yeah, that I more
right,
and more lately with also some of the books that I've been reading, that concept of feeling like we are God and God is everything. But it is that
right.
like we have that ability, I think, when we live in alignment with our heart's desires and we're constantly attuning to that, shifting our life based on that, I do think we have that power of actualization potential, which is
Yeah.
scary, but awesome, cool, exciting,
Mhm.
inspiring. But I believe it more and more because this is the first time in my life that it's like I really the amount of inspiration that I feel when I envision what my practice is going to look
Mhm.
like and like the specifics around it, like how do I
Mhm.
want to feel at the beginning and the end of a day and how many
Mm.
hours and what kind of materials do I want to wear and what kind of materials and colors do I want around me and like smells and just
Cool.
just all of that. It's hard to believe that that it wouldn't come true. I mean, unless something like really crazy happens, which hopefully not.
Right.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. You
Yeah.
never
Then
know.
it would change. It would change form a little, maybe, right? Like,
Yeah, maybe it would happen still the same, but yeah, you. you'd have like a massive other learning that needed to happen before, so
Exactly.
yeah, it's very fun stuff to contemplate. This book was recommended by two dear friends of mine, but the Joseph Campbell Handbook is just, it's
Oh,
phenomenal. It's so good. Like, I don't want it to end. And it's really nice because it's these small chapters. So yeah, I
I
just,
didn't know there was a handbook. Yeah,
it's
cool.
been fun.
Joseph Campbell. I'm gonna write that one down because
I've been reading it on
I
my
haven't
Kindle
heard of the
of the handbook.
handbook.
Yeah. I want to buy it in hard copy as well, and then like, yeah, kind of go back and reread sections of it and annotate in it, uh, and have my own library.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like why not? It's also these things
Hmm.
when it's you hear how other people live their lives, and then all of a sudden it expands the potential of like, yeah, I've always wanted to write in books, but I felt like that's not good. That's bad. In school, you're told that because you're renting or whatever, borrowing from the school, so you can't just annotate as you want.
Right. Yeah.
But having your own
Mhm.
resources and cherishing that and exploring that self-expression, and it's like Paul Check talks about it too, like going into dialogue with the author, like at the end of the chapter, if you
Ooh,
agree or you don't, like whatever it is, like you write
that's
your thoughts
cool.
in after, and then when you look
I
back,
like that.
then you're like, oh, whoa, that was me. I remember that version of myself at that time, and look how far I've come. I
Mm,
still feel the same, or yeah, like a
yeah.
relationship.
I think I think books too, like they've been stripped a little of their potency or expression or power to reflect or engage with or learn from. Like in this day and age of a lot of screens, right? Or information being accessed very easily, like clicky wise. And I've also noticed my own resistance to like books and literature from the schooling system. I was like, I don't want to fucking read and study and like just now I'm coming into like a time of where I feel like I can actually take in some information or read for pleasure or for a specific purpose. Or I don't know. Books, I think, yeah, I like that you're talking about books.
Yeah, I think it's phases of life where it resonates a lot more or doesn't. But I lately feel this like voracious need to, and I don't
Mm,
know, that's also a contemplation that I don't know if it's out of wanting to avoid my own internal states and explorations, of wanting to distract and learn
mhm.
from others and like latch on to, or take bits of, it doesn't have to be either or.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah,
but yeah, lately it's like that's all I really want to do is like move my body, be out in nature and read, which is really nice.
beautiful.
Yeah, to have also the time and space to do that. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. What else? What else, Celeste? What else is going on over there
Let's
in
go.
your world?
My world. Well, a lot of family connection time, which
Mm.
has been a
You have more
really,
family there on both
yes,
sides, no? Or,
technically yes, but at the moment I've only been spending time with my mom's side of the family and like
uh-huh.
living with my grandma. That's something that
Right.
I, there I have definitely had moments of judging that situation of being like, oh my gosh, you're 30 years old. You should XYZ be able to support yourself and, just be independent and all that. But I, yeah, it's been really wonderful the mutually beneficial dynamic that my grandma and I have had in these last weeks together.
Mm.
And it's sweet because it's like, I have minimal living costs, which is helpful for me in this transition phase of my life. And she then has companionship and kind of like an
Mhm.
energized action person to like help her with like cleaning up this room, for example, just these projects that she's wanted to do for years, but just doesn't
Right.
know where to start. And that's where our energy compatibility is really felt. Like initially, the first week, it felt a little bit like this, that it was like, I don't really, we don't know how we fit together. What's this going to look like? But now that it's settled, it's just really sweet. And then being able to understand my own mom more through
Right.
understanding her mom, like this
Mhm.
this feeling of that maternal lineage, the direct contact, and also
Right.
my grandma's sister, lives close by. It's like all these interactions, being able
Mhm.
at this stage in my life with a different kind of awareness and presence capacity. What a gift, that I
Mhm.
didn't expect. Uh,
Oh,
so it's really nice.
that's really sweet.
It's really
And
cool, man. Like what?
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Also, like having lost my grandmother in the physical form last year around this time and really like been connecting with her and her lineage and spirit. It's there's something really sacred about the grandmother, right? Like,
Yeah.
and especially in your case, like the mother's mother, and to really be present in that and get to connect with it right now so intimately. Like
Yeah.
it is special.
And
And I could also see how you could have gone the other way and just like kind of closed off from that and been like, God, I'm living with my grandma. I need to figure out how to get out of here as soon as possible and not like take and immerse in the opportunity it is that is right there right now with her.
I've definitely had those moments.
I'm sure.
you know, yeah, just the like, oh my goodness, like I'm gonna move to the city, next week. Like I have to figure it out. I gotta
Yeah.
get out of here. What am I?
Yeah.
But then, I did that when I was 24. 24? No, 23. I think it was 23. It was before physiotherapy school. I came and lived here I only lasted 6 weeks,
Nice.
but I was at a different point in my life. And now it's just
Yeah.
it's kind of it's wonderful to feel that I would call it progress and growth and like a calming within myself that it's like, yeah, what do we chase in the city in high stimulation environments?
Mm,
Distraction, people,
mm,
dating, money, you know, capitalistic pursuits.
mhm.
It's actually really valuable to have the peace and the quiet and the slow and the nurture and the kind of cocooning energy to
Yeah.
just to
Especially
feel.
right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So that's been really, yeah. I'm every day I reflect on that it's a blessing and just how grateful I am. And also that my family's like open to that, because some families aren't that way, that they're like, no.
That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's also a cultural experience because my mom's family is from Suriname, Dutch.
Hmm.
So that's more that like warm South American,
Right.
and naturally they help each other, like similar to Mexico, Mexicans,
Yeah.
that, yeah, family's everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool to tap into that more. And
Hmm.
another piece to it, it's like back to the maternal lineage part. I just feel like after this particular breakup and whatever it is at this point in my life, that there is a lot of meditating on femininity and
Mm.
and what that means and cultivating that receiving element more, like opening to
Hmm.
that. Because I do feel like I've lived a lot of my life in a very masculine,
Hmm.
stereotyping these roles, but these energies, but a very action oriented and quite impulsive and directed. Um,
Hmm.
but that's what I'm trying to learn is more the observing, receiving, waiting, patience, softening,
Intuiting. Yeah.
intuiting. Yeah. So that does feel also facilitated by that direct line of
Mm-hmm.
the with the women in my family.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yeah.
Aw. Wow.
In
In the Netherlands.
the Netherlands, it's so dark. It's so cold.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, and yeah, you're just getting into that, right? Like it will be
Yeah.
dark and cold for a little while.
Until at least I went the winter after the winter solstice, of course, and it starts to get a bit lighter every day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's around what, January, February, March, maybe April
Yeah.
is when the weather starts to upshift.
Wow.
Yeah. So I remember this. I remember it.
Yeah.
I do
But also
feel
like I love places that have like their different offerings of the environment or elements or seasons and like that opportunity to have less stimulation to like go inward a little more or be still, be quiet, have a candle lit. Like it's really inviting of that energy, which is can feel uncomfortable, but also nice to kind of have alignment with the environment too.
definitely with the seasons within the
And
world. I feel like, well, not even just feel, I don't know, and that's exactly what we're studying. It's like that straying from that natural relationship is where most of our dis-ease is coming from in life.
right.
And,
Yeah.
I noticed too, it's like the holidays are coming here, Christmas, and there's this
Yeah.
energy, this kind of like stressy franticness around that it's like, this is
Yeah.
completely opposite to what this time of the year is calling of
Mm-hmm.
us, asking of us. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, they say the Netherlands is an extremely, of course, westernized country, along with the US, and it's
Yeah.
yeah, very career-driven, economy-driven way of
Mm-hmm.
living, rather artificial. Uh, and so it's also strange to, it feels so apparent how impactful, negatively impactful that all is after having lived in Mexico, where you're at, right?
Yeah.
Or Portugal on the island as well. That's
Yeah.
yeah,
Different energy, different
different energy,
environmental
just different
energy.
rhythms, different ways, different pace. It's like, can we all just like in a supermarket? That's how I feel sometimes. That I'm like, I don't need to bag my groceries like insanely fast. Like, let's just
Right.
calm down, you behind me, that I feel the pressure moving towards me. It's like, just, we have a few minutes here, guys. Let's enjoy.
Yeah.
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 Wow.
I think that's it though. That's the work is like in the everyday life, in those moments, or like, especially if you feel more sensitive to it, like, I think it's easy to kind of collapse into it or feel annoyed or heavy or like, this world, like, but
Overwhelmed.
finding ways that support you so that when you are in that place, you bring that energy, you bring the more calm, inward, like grounded, like connected to the earth, like connected to the natural rhythms and seasons and not solely existing in like one micro piece of our existence that can feel really overwhelming to be around if you're not in that.
Yeah.
And that's obviously easier said than done. But I love the grocery store example because you can, and I notoriously do not like going to grocery stores. Like, I've been practicing going a little slower or going a little like, how can I enjoy this experience better? Like, how can I, or be more present in it instead of just like, get me the fuck out of here as soon as I enter. Like, let me just get my shit. And yeah, so thanks for bringing that up. And also, I want to add to like the fact that you're bringing up being more still or in the dark. Because I recently posted this post about like things that support me when I'm struggling lately. And it was cool to see some moms' responses to like what supports them lately. And one of them in wrote a lot of things that were like, yeah, like sunshine, being in the quiet, being in water, like a lot of these really low to no stimulation things. And like it was just kind of a reminder for me that you're reinforcing of like how supportive that can actually be for us and our beings and our system and our mind and everything. Like to actually, you don't need to go to a yoga class or go do this or be on your thing. Sometimes maybe we just, in order to feel supported, need to like surrender to the like what is and not be so stimulated. And that feels hard to do
Mhm.
in this world or some of these environments.
Yeah, I mean, I think historically I'd had the tendency of, I mean, especially in this breakup, post-breakup phase right now, right? That it's like, okay, there's a lot of grief that needs to just run its
Mm.
course. And, historically I would go to like, okay, I need to like play sad music for myself in order to get myself there. But then it's like, okay, no, the mind is taking on the narrative of the song. That's not exactly like my narrative and my feeling and journey. And it's interesting to feel how, yeah, just giving this silent space, how quickly lately the prickling starts and then the tears
Mm.
bubble. And then it's like, oh, thank God. Like, like how is that so easy now? But I think it's just in the last years of of allowing that, of exploring that, of almost like forcing it. Like I hear Tim
Mm.
Gray's voice all the time of that, like, okay, you just like go and like talk to your inner child and like nurture it.
Hmm.
And yeah, really consciously going through that process. I feel like at the start I felt really dumb doing it because just, it was so
Mm.
foreign and weird and uncomfortable. And often like nothing really came up or I didn't sit in it long enough. But then it's like
Mm.
now I'm seeing the benefits. It's like that muscle has been strengthened and it still has a long way to
Mm.
go, I think. But yeah, I think the silence is very medicinal in that way because then we feel ourselves,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I just experienced that yesterday with Rio, actually, which I used to experience a lot with my last dog, Maya. But something's shifting with him lately, or our dynamic. It's both of us, right? It's not just him growing up and learning his dog stuff and energy and me and my place, but like something was happening yesterday that was really interesting. Like for one, back to like the pack thing and power and alpha and all of that. After our training session, they get free time before and after class. So they were playing, and a lot of them, the ones that do play, they're bigger dogs, right? Like Jella, Laura's dog's really intense. We've got Rio, and then we have Marla, who's a German Shepherd. And then there's this other dog who the owner came because he was starting to really lose his shit with this dog because it's super aggressive, it's really high energy, it's really intense. It's like Malinois Belgian Shepherd mix. So it's like ready to fucking go, right? And he's young. He's a male and he's young and he's like a lot. So he just recently let him off the leash for the free time yesterday. He has a muzzle, so just in case. And the trainer was observing them, and they're playing all frantic and crazy, kind of aggressive. But suddenly, this dog started to get really intense. Like he was kind of, his hackles were going up, and he was a little like, bah! And Rio, actually, of all the dogs, came to him and like kind of like tried to put him in check,
Mhm.
which I've never seen him do because usually he's super passive and timid. But he like got aggressive, and my first instinct was like, no, Rio, like don't fight back or whatever's happening. And then the trainer explained that in dog pack dynamics, like the alpha, she's like, Rio is like sort of an alpha or becoming one because it is the alpha that actually monitors and controls the intensity. It's not the aggressive one.
Mhm.
It's the one that's like, hey, this is not good for the pack and you're like getting too aggressive and intense. I'm gonna like help control that and like, assert some kind of energy to like for the betterment of the other one. And he called him a rehabilitation dog. I didn't even know that was a thing. But basically a dog that helps other intense dogs be more co-regulated, be kept in check, not be dominated, but be like help keep the balance and regulation. And I was like, whoa, that's wild. And it was so cool to witness. But he was also super whiny yesterday, like extra whiny, or like I was hanging out with him in the living room. He was just like, and then like looking at me, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what are you trying to communicate? And then I just like stopped and looked at him and I started crying, right? It was just like I don't know how they do that, or it's just the simpleness of like being still and present. And then there's this like live creature just like seemingly holding space or like emitting an energy that you're just like, wow, I am not present right now. Or wow, like you're you're like communicating something to me that I'm getting that I can't even put in words, right? And just to be in that moment together and have him like kind of help redirect me to like presence or my own power or my own role in this world, It's like so sweet and so beautiful, but like we miss those moments all the time. And like I feel like dogs especially they're really good at like kind of gently poking at you. And sometimes it's like, you're being needy or you're being annoying. And sometimes I feel like they're really just guides at helping us be present. And like, and they like, it's like they communicate in a way that sometimes humans can't with each other in the same way because they're just so good at it. They've been practicing it as canines for forever or whatever. And there's something about that for me that's being very like stirred and awakened, the canine energy, the pack, the wolf, the nervous system regulation and communication among dogs and their owners and each other. And it's like really fun to just be in and like be learning and be receiving too.
That's
But
so
I'm
cool.
really, I'm
Yeah.
really grateful for Rio. And then you can go even beyond that on how I got Rio, right? There's just
Yeah.
like, it's just like,
Well, that's what I wanted to say. I was like, it totally makes sense that you have an alpha rehabilitative dog.
but
Like the two of you. Yeah, that makes
he
sense.
doesn't present that way necessarily, which is
Oh,
what's interesting.
but you also don't.
Mm,
So that's that I think that's the interesting thing that it's like that's kind of that
yeah.
true power that's happening there. It's like these individuals like you, like your dog, like Katie Gray, it's like
Mhm.
people
Like
and not to
you.
think like myself, but
Yes.
yeah. Um,
Like myself.
like
No.
myself, me, but that these individuals that it's just the embodiment of what is true, and then that is regulating for those around us, or provocative, or
Or
uncomfortable,
triggering. Yeah,
triggering.
that's for sure.
Triggering. I've had some very triggering interactions
Yeah.
in the last year. Uh,
Mhm.
but that's I guess I don't know. That's our role I really do intrinsically believe it's actually like every human being's role, every organism. It's like we are all involved in that. Maybe some of us naturally have more of a capacity to get there just based on
Sure.
our curiosities and sense of purpose and fulfillment. But it is something that everybody can totally tap into. And that's almost like the moral responsibility. But, that's
Hmm.
but yeah, I've been seeing your videos with Rio and his training and reading your captions and whatnot, and I've just been like, man, I want to get a dog.
Yeah.
But like,
It's
that
it's
choosing, that
so
mutual,
cool.
natural coming into each other's lives. And so, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
into that.
Well, and in our conversation yesterday, mine and Rio's, when I was like, I was reflecting on the very fact that I've always wanted this. Like, I think since I was very little, like I grew up with a dog. It wasn't my dog, it was my dad's, but like always grew up connected to dogs, always grew up kind of understanding them, I think, naturally and wanting to be around them. I have a feeling you might feel similar, but also this idea, you see those dogs of like just sitting outside a store waiting for their owner and like it's like they're one, like they're separate, but they're bonded, they're obedient, they're powerful, they're like cohesive. And then I'm like, oh man, I've always wanted that. And I kind of tried with my last dog, but because of I got her when I was 17, we didn't really implement that stuff till later. So Rio has been my first dog that's like mine that I'm guiding and raising and training and like he happens to also be an incredible dog and a pretty easy dog to train naturally. But it's also becoming clear that he wants that too. It's like we're choosing each other. Like he wants to be my teammate. He wants to be like, he wants to go where I go. And that was what I was asking him. I'm like, I'm going to be traveling a bit next year. Like, do you want to come? Like, do you feel like you're going to be ready to be able to be in like a retreat space or camp or places where you're going to have to like be working or like be there for the people? Like, and he was just kind of like, yes, I'm ready. And you've always wanted this. Like, don't be afraid of it or like, don't back down, kind of.
Yeah.
And the training has been so just kind of like eye-opening into dog culture and nature that feels really natural for me. But it's like giving me the tools and like structure of like, whoa, this is like I can run with it now too, or stay consistent with it. And like, and that is going to help, like, he's going to help other people. Like, just by him being him and him coming with me into certain spaces, like, it allows people to receive, from a dog, which is different than human too.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited about our journey. Like that's the purpose of it, right? Like right now we're in just basic obedience training, but it's like it feels so powerful because I think something else is blossoming from it too that he's a part of and wants. It's not like I'm making him a therapy dog. He was like he's just right for it and it's really exciting to team up together and
Yeah.
like be cultivating that. And it is a lot of work too. It's not just like, oh,
Yeah.
great.
That you're putting in the work.
But
And I think that's the shift with the training lately. I mean, that seems to have made huge differences.
yeah,
But I think it makes sense because it's like I think of children, it's like kids crave containment too. It's
right.
like organisms
Yeah.
as well. It's like when we kind of like understand where we stand with each other, that feels safe. And then from that
Yeah.
safety, it's like, okay, we can then blossom within ourselves. That makes total sense to me.
Yeah. And it's also been like highlighting the areas in my life where I've kind of avoided that kind of structure
Mhm.
or somewhat more masculine energy of um yeah, schedule, consistency, structure, like organization and direction, like kind of what you were speaking to earlier is something I've been more avoidant and resistant towards. And this dog training is actually kind of awakening that for me and helping me implement it more in my life where I feel like it's really needed. So it's been interesting to see how much I'm learning too, like in just going to fucking dog training like
Yeah,
twice a
it's
week.
people
Like,
turning it. Yeah. I love
and
that.
like stirring this connection to dogs that has always been there, but I've never really thought about pursuing or saw it in a way of like, wow, this is maybe something to listen to, right? Like being pointed towards. Um, Again, like we don't know sometimes how that looks or how it unfolds, but I know my connections to dog has always been there, and that's clear, right? So, yeah, very in my canine era.
Beautiful. It's so, so wonderful to hear about. And yeah, just the companionship, I can imagine, like that's so soothing. Yeah, whenever you're feeling down and having this furry creature that actually just comes and makes physical contact. Like I noticed that with my parents' dogs, with my cats growing up. It's like they know
Right.
what you need
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
It's so soothing. So yeah, I made a joke to my grandma. I was like, I'm gonna adopt a dog. And she was like, no, you're not. I was like,
Not in this house. No.
not right now. But at some point.
Yeah. You'll know, or it'll just happen and it'll be right. Because
Yeah.
I did not think I was ready for a dog when Rio came, but you know, it's been fine. It's been more than fine. So, and also, yeah, it's a big responsibility. It's a big yes. So, like, impulsively, irresponsibly, just getting one is also like, there's a line, I feel like. But just like in anything, like you're saying, I'm not quite ready, I think can go both ways. Sometimes I think it can be like, no, this is a wise, honorable choice. I'm not ready. And I'll know when I am, or I'm going to work to being ready. And there's that other side of ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Like you're never ready kind of vibe of like at some point you have to take action or say yes or like step into it with as ready as you are in order to be more ready or in order to get to where you want
Yeah.
or what you want.
I
But
feel, I feel like that's where
yeah.
the living, very much living in the present is, because like in your
Mm.
case, with Rio and Katie Gray, basically, like you just, it all happened.
Yeah.
It was almost not
Right.
forced in a way, but like gently forced, in a beautiful way. And I see that. I imagine it's that way too when you meet people, right? Like a significant other, like someone who you're going to have children with, like those kinds of huge contact moments that you don't
Yeah.
know it it's not necessarily what you were like, oh, I've been searching for this. It's like it subtly comes in and it's
Right.
so natural. I think there's a lot of magic to be lived in that way because I tend to be
Hmm.
very, impulsive, decisive, like action oriented that I'm
Hmm.
like, oh, I want that. I'm gonna go get it. And I think I'm coming to this realization that it's like that energy is funneling into my career work sphere. Like that feels really
Mm.
good. That intentionality, that clarity, that like directed.
Hmm.
But in other realms of my life, I feel like it's more of that like, okay, universe. It's like I say I think I want these things, but I trust it's going to come when readiness, when there's some alignment there. That's
Hmm.
what I've been thinking lately anyway, or trying to practice more. Yeah.
Hmm.
But I don't know. Everyone's a little different in that regard. It's,
Totally. And we're learning. as we go too, like some of these things, right? Like, oh, that really solidified my way of being around that, or like, oh, whoa, I have been, I'm a little off track here, and now I know.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
so yeah, staying present really is huge, and it's hard when your mind is wanting to do or like have so much going on. But like, I think that that's also, we can be present in that too. Like, how can we, um, yeah, because sometimes I find myself avoiding that realm if it's too overwhelming, but I'm not really present with it then. It's just kind of like, oh, we'll just ignore that over there. It's too chaotic or,
Yeah, that's a big one because I feel the judgment of it is feels pretty intense actually, that it's like, oh, I shouldn't be thinking into the future so much, or uh,
right.
but it's actually an indicator of some guidance, you know. It's like where the thoughts
Yeah,
come clearly, um, there's an importance there that just needs to be acknowledged. Maybe not like fed so much because it's not good to like live
sure.
in the future all the time, but it's yeah, I've noticed that a lot lately too, in this denial phase of also relationship ending. That you're like, oh,
Mm.
like maybe, what if at some point
Hmm.
could be
Hmm.
da 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 da, like so many different scenarios and imageries. And then it's like looking underneath that, it's like, what is that? Oh, it's just I'm hurting a lot.
Yeah.
Or, you know, looking at projecting too far with like career and visions also, it's like, what is that? Oh, you know, I actually just feel like maybe very insecure in my current financial
Hmm.
situation, like that kind of,
Right. Like trying to cling to something that's it's gonna be better then, or like something outside of now.
yeah.
It's comforting also. Yeah.
It brings to mind an image of like, I don't know, holding on to like a cart or something that's like accelerating. And then it's like, it's like you're basically, if you hold on too long, you're gonna injure yourself, like smash your face onto the ground. You
Right.
have to like let it go and accelerate off, and then you're like slowing down to a walk again of like, oh yeah, here
Mm-hmm.
I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good shit, amiga.
Yeah. Well,
So
I'm glad to be on all these threads of things. I've been thinking about threads a lot too, and taking taking a moment in the present to kind of look where things came from, how they did get here in the first place too. Like not going back too hard, but like being like, wow, I live in like how all these things kind of like weave and come together, and it's so beautiful and magical, and being like, wow, I'm a part of this tapestry too, and like how can I kind of be more in touch with those connecting dots moving forward too, or like what I'm creating or want to be a part of. And yeah, I think of like how we met, and it and the energy that you had put out around putting a video up that somebody saw me and was like, oh, there's something I don't know other than like in similar fields of like I'm supposed to connect with that. And like I feel like I'm getting better at learning those moments where I'm like, this is significant, follow it. It doesn't have to mean something, or like my head might start creating what it should be, or stories, or like, oh, like this means this, or we're supposed to be this supposed to be this, or this means that we're gonna do this. And it's like, but just noticing that there's a thread there and be like, cool, I'm gonna follow the thread and like not have expectation for something, but kind of see where it goes, believing that it's going to be something like beautiful or magical or high life force energy or something for me or mutually beneficial, like you're saying. And like, um, I find those moments really fascinating and powerful, especially when you kind of get better at like noticing them or following them. It's like, wow, this is fun. And like, you never know, right? Like you're saying, you don't know who you're going to meet or collaborate with, or what book will guide you where or to what, or what animal, what class. Like, oh, I just something was feeling like I wanted to start doing boxing class, right? Or whatever it is, and like the gifts that are available to us, or maybe the messages that are trying to like kind of open up the path to help guide you, like continuing.
Yeah. And so like
So,
what if you to put it into words, like what exactly does that feel like in the moment? Because I feel like for me it's just very cool. It's clarity. It's like a calm, excited clarity. And that's it.
yeah, that's a good way. I think for me, especially with people, it's often presented as crush energy, like a like wow, like it's like a magnetic pull.
Yeah.
It's like you feel a magnetic pull, and it's like, oh, that's such a clear feeling for me. Whether that's it's with anything, right? Place, person, job, like environment, piece of art. Like it's like there's this like, oh, you know how Katie kind of goes vroom, vroom. It's like
Yeah.
yeah, it's like a activation of life force magnetic pull that feels like a soul hug, kind of. It's like a, oh wow, that feels right for me. Or like, oh wow, that feels like a pure, easy connection dot that I'm supposed to pay attention to. Um, and sometimes I think it's a little stronger or less than other, but it's like the same essence of feeling
Yeah. Because I
for me.
wonder, if, like, do some people not feel that? Or they
I
used
just had, right.
and they
I
don't
think that
anymore?
we all have that capability of feeling it
Yeah.
and knowing it. And maybe some of us are more naturally sensitive or open to those kinds of pulls. And maybe some of us have, like, for whatever reason, turned that dial down or blocked it off for so long that it's not palpable. It's just like, or it's palpable, but then something else overpowers it. Like the mind's like, oh, whatever, like, you know, I'm on this route, or like, that's cool, but like, this is what it's like locked into certain identities or things, and doesn't give room for those kinds of things to like bubble up and blossom or become something that we have no idea. So, yeah, I was just talking to a friend about this same conversation about what is that? And like when you experience it with someone, you can talk about it together, which is cool, and like reflect on the different energy pulling and magnetism and stuff. And also be like, what is that and why? And do other people experience that? And like what happens when it's not mutual, or is it mutual, but somebody else is like guarding it or blocking that from actually being palpable or exchanged.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a very fascinating like realm of connection and energetics and communication and something more soul like.
Yeah, just and it's more fulfilling living in that, with those cues, following that, honoring that input, I think, that guidance, because I mean, I recently in a conversation with a friend as well, like I would I was asked, like, how do you know when to to leave, when to change, when to shift, when to
Yeah.
follow, when to abide, when to allow, and because I think a lot of people feel that way. It's like, how when you see someone, when you experience someone who is really living in their truth, it's like immediately evident because of their energy and their embodiment.
Hmm.
And it's like, okay, why can't we all be like that? And it's like, I feel like that's
Mm.
very much the work that I want to also like share with people It's like that's
Hmm.
the goal. And it's like part of it is the mental narratives. Part of it might even be, though, I think, like just physiologically in the body, the inability to feel that because the system is so stressed from like shitty
Right.
nutrition,
Yeah.
bad sleep, too much screen time, like all the toxicity,
Yeah.
just overrun. And so it's like, I think of, for example, my dad, that it's, even if those inputs were coming up, I think the soul like tries to, it's like, hey, like, this is my these final attempts to like save you in a way. But then if the body, the vessel is incapable
Mhm.
of receiving those signals, the antenna's blocked, I liked that analogy earlier, then maybe some people just really don't feel it anymore.
Yeah.
And what is that?
Yeah.
Is it too far gone? Or, that's the,
Right. Yeah, I definitely don't believe it's not there, or I believe it's there.
yeah,
But yeah, it's like it could be like if you look at it like light or like a fire, like I'm looking at this candle. And maybe on someone like, the very tip of like the wick that's like kind of still like coal almost. It's like barely lit looking. And it's like
yeah,
tiny. It's like, I feel like it's like that. It's like so dim. It's the tiniest, tiniest, tiniest little spark, but like we all have that. We have to, you know?
yeah.
Nope. You bring in your candle. And like, I think when we're really alive, and in embodying that spark, it's like it's more like a big fire, right? It's just like it's just kind of flowing and palpable and moving and powerful and guiding. But when it's like to the tiniest little spark, which we can evoke within each other, I think is also what we're speaking to. It's hard for it to be seen, felt, or moved or done anything with because it's just a dormant, tiny, like flint of a spark, which doesn't feel very lively, like it feels kind of dead. And I think that, yeah, what you're speaking to, what part of our role and work is helping people touch that spark or feel it or evoke it or fan the fire or remembering that it's there in you, that you have it, like whatever that it is, like hard to put words to, but that pulsating pure life force, divine, magical, powerful energy, the that ties into all the things that are innate wisdom of the body that we're often disconnected from, and all the other things that like spark provides and is connected to, that fire. It's like,
God force within us.
yeah, I'm sure we could look at it as water too, but fire, I don't know. I like fire. And also it's light. So the visual of just like light and flame and spark versus like one tiny little flint of an ember is like very different feeling, right?
Yeah.
You can feel it. You can feel the warmth of the fire. You can't feel the thing unless you touch right on it, which again, yeah, the vessel being closed to those avenues, it makes it hard to touch it or like feel it or to spark it.
Yeah, that's the work.
Fire,
Yeah. I just got wax all
fire.
over my laptop. That's why
Oh, nice.
like, shit, man. The candle was stuck and then it unstuck and just like, so now I have
Then
to.
that can happen too, right? You're like, oh, my fire's going, and all of a sudden it's like, what? I just feel hot wax. Like, where's the
Where's
stove?
the flame? That was yesterday for me. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, this has been fun. And
Yes.
I think though it's time for me to nourish my body and eat some dinner.
Oh yeah, shit. It's time for me to go as well.
Oh,
You don't
you're
get
not late
it.
for your thing. What are
I'm not late. I just have a few things to do to get going.
perfect timing then? Well,
Yeah. Oh, Celeste, I love
I
you.
love
This
you.
is
Thank
fun,
you.
and yeah, let's keep going.
Yeah. And so let me
And
pause the
oh
recording.
yeah, we're recording.